mental health has really sort of come to the forefront of the conversation, and there's a very important reason why. Joining us on the CoastLife couch today are Jennifer and Mike. Thank you guys for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Now, Jennifer, you're with the Jesse Klump Foundation, right?
The Jesse Klump Memorial Fund. We're a suicide prevention and awareness program, and we offer support to people who have lost a loved one from suicide.
Yeah, and Mike, you're also with Worcester County.
Yep, with the health department down in Worcester County, and we do a lot to support the community regarding behavioral health as well as all other manners of health. So, proud to partner with the Jesse Klump Memorial Fund and do some work in the community.
Yeah, it's important work. Can you tell us a little bit about the Jesse Klump Memorial, how it got started and the story behind it?
So Jesse Klump was a 17-year-old high school student in Snow Hill. Exemplary student, straight A's, athletic. In February of 2009, he took his own life. The family really wanted to turn this situation into something positive, and all they could think about is giving back to the community and other kids so that no other family would go through that pain. So we've been in existence 15 years. We do really good work. Talk with kids, go to schools, talk with whoever will let us talk to them. Sometimes it's hard with stigma to get people to talk about mental health, but we really want to give the message that it's as important as physical health. There is no health without mental health.
Absolutely.
That's very good.
And let's talk about the stigma a little bit. I think sometimes when people are, they think about the signs being sadness, depression, you're pulling away from your loved ones, but actually it's not uncommon to hear, I think, sort of stories like Jesse's where they are top students, they're social, they're involved, and everything seems fine, and then all of a sudden it's unexpected, it comes out of nowhere. Why do you think that is? What are some things that maybe people should look for when it comes to either breaking down barriers with the stigma surrounding mental health, and like where does the conversation go from there?
So I think that's a great question. Everyone's journey is a little different. Everybody's perception and their story is a little different. So, what to watch for can be a little different in everybody.
Sure.
You certainly want to watch for changes in the person. So, when you know somebody, you kind of know what's typical for them. And so if you start to see changes, that's something to be concerned about. If you start to see emotions that are kind of bigger than what you would expect, or or negative emotions that last longer than what you might expect, then those are things you want to look for. So frequency, duration, and really the severity of those emotions. Those are things you want to look for, and conversation is so very important. So if you're worried about somebody, or you think they might be struggling, have a conversation and ask them. We do a training, mental health first aid is a terrific training that we do in the community to train people what to look for and how to help their loved ones. So, but really just, know the people around you, and don't be afraid to ask how they're doing, or, what's going on.
And if you are maybe somebody struggling, it can be hard to ask for help, especially if you are more of like the comedian clown type of person, and you're expected to be feeling okay all the time. It can be hard to kind of open those doors as well. How can somebody who's maybe struggling start opening the doors to that conversation as well?
There's a lot of negative self-talk that goes with depression, and I think that in itself makes it harder for people to ask for help. They feel like a failure. They feel like they can't manage on their own. They see other people managing. So, there's community stigma, but then there's also what we hold inside of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know. I like Leah too mentioned earlier that it's kind of been a recent push to like end the stigma and talk about it more, which is of course a great thing. Have you noticed in your line of work more people struggling or more people coming and asking for help?
Absolutely. I think over the past decade or so, we've definitely seen a lot more folks coming in and looking for help. And you talked about the pandemic, post-pandemic. There were obviously a lot of folks really struggling and coming in looking for help. To the point that there's sometimes not enough resources to go around. But absolutely, that seems to be expanding. And part of it might be that people are struggling more, but I also think that part of it's because we're talking about it more, which in some ways, that's a positive. It's a positive that more folks are reaching out and trying to get help.
Definitely.
So absolutely. I also want to say that you know, if somebody's struggling, 988, you know, we want to put 988 out there as a crisis line. It's a number you can call, even if you're in crisis or you just don't know where to turn. Call 988 and they'll be glad to link you with resources, and that's a national number.
If the community wants to get involved, you guys have a walk coming up that people can participate in. Tell us about that.
So on October 21st, we have the Out of the Darkness Walk. So the name implies that, you know, we're going to be talking about suicide and everybody's going to be together giving each other support. So this is a rescheduled date, and we're actually doing it in Snow Hill at the Parks and Recreation facility. So if it rains, we can move inside.
Okay.
So
Great
we're
idea.
having this walk no matter
Yes.
what. Registration is at 9 a.m. The walk begins at 10. It's a time for people who have lost someone to suicide to honor them, to walk for them, and money raised benefits the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
So is that something that people need to register ahead of time for, or do they just show up?
They should definitely register ahead of time. If they want to show up, you know, we're glad to have them. So they can go to afsp.org. That's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's website. They can register there, or you know, if they're not going to be in town that date, or if you know, if they're watching this broadcast and they don't live in that area, AFSP holds walks nationally, so they can look online for, you know, find a walk in your area.
Great. Looking forward to this event. Thank you for spreading the word, too. I didn't know that they held walks everywhere. That's important knowledge for people to know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank both of you for coming in.
Yes.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you for having us.
A heavy topic, but a very important topic
Yes.
to always sort of keep in the back of your mind, keep these resources in the back of your mind, and look out for our community, because I think people have become very isolated these days. So
Absolutely.
to have these community events is really great. Thank you guys for coming in.
Yes.
Stick around though, because we do have some more Coast Life coming your way, some more community-oriented events to discuss, so don't go anywhere.